Absolutely.
And my son, cool.
I was really, and I hope maybe we'll get a chance to chat with Aaron later, but he was sharing yesterday with me how big a role interfaith engagement played in his high school years.
Definitely.
Who are we looking at here?
This is Sister Geeta and Reverend Gwyn Giebord and myself. And it says, you must read that.
3 powerful women on the interfaith stage of Southern California. Oh, yes. That's so true.
That was
and
so
I think
nice.
It says 2014, which was like yesterday. And then who's here in this?
My cousin, the first one is a niece. The second one is my sister-in-law, married to my cousin. And the third one is my cousin.
And so everybody in your family looks like a Bollywood actress, is what I'm gathering. And do tell us about this picture back here.
This is a very favorite picture of mine, but I have to keep it hidden because my elder brother's friend came and he started whistling at that.
Oh, well, we can see why. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Can you maybe tell us the significance of the red in the picture?
Oh, the red bindi?
Yeah, and the red on your scalp.
The red on my scalp. That's what we put, the vermilion powder. And I used to think it was a danger mark, the red, that we are married whenever we are married. But now it's become a fashion statement.
Mm-hmm.
They wear the bindi, but they don't wear the red thing that often.
Okay.
But, and now I was reading about pineal gland, and they say that, in the middle, they have the pineal gland.
And then there's some kind of...
When you're putting it on, so you concentrate there.
Wow.
And somehow it brings that concentration and focus. Our men used to put, long time back, you'll see men with, all kinds of things on their forehead.
Okay, now
this is my dad, my adorable dad. And my mom.
Just like your mom. I mean, the resemblance.
This was taken 2 or 3 days before she passed away.
Aww.
Cousins took the picture.
And Rini, you were the only child.
I was the only child.
So tell us the truth. Were you spoiled?
Maybe I was. But every time I was reminded by my mom that you are being spoiled and you won't be treated this way. When I went to the boarding school, the Irish nuns, under the Irish nuns, and she said, you've been treated very well in the family. They keep you as the queen over here. But remember, you're going to a boarding school. They won't treat you nicely. Unfortunately, the nuns loved me. And only with that girl there.
And then you got married, and your husband spoiled you too.
Yeah, and I went into a joint family after I got married. So my mom told me, remember, you're going to your in-laws' place. They won't treat you. They will see all your faults. But they loved me more than they loved my husband. So that was much to the disappointment of my mom.
How could you not?
So Rini, can you show us your kitchen?
Come on.
All right. So Rini is going to be cooking, and I'm going to provide assistance by holding the camera. And then Pastor Steve is on his way. So that'll be fun. So what do you have here? It looks like you've already, look at that. She's beautifully put out her ingredients. Oh, what are we making today?
Khichuri.
And what is khichuri?
Khichuri is a rice and lentil combination.
Love it.
And it can be cooked myriads of ways. And I've cooked the easier and the healthier and the quicker version. So please don't get disappointed. It can be cooked with all the trimmings, and all the frying and everything can be done. It can be cooked in a beautiful way also. But I think the second generation Indians or South Asians, our children love the way I cook this one. When I put in too many things, I don't think they like that too much.
Okay, and khichuri is like a really tricky word, because I saw you spelled it Kichdi. And I was like, that looks like Khichdi to me, but it's that R, right?
Yeah,
it's that
the
Indian
D
R.
is the R.
Yeah.
Instead of R, it's a little bit of a D and a little bit of an R.
So, when Pastor Steve gets here, it's going to be really fun to see if he can say it. We'll play that game with him when he arrives.
And Bengalis, we call it Khichuri. Bengalis have a way of putting all O's in all their language.
So there's an O before,
between the Khichuri.
Khichuri.
Yeah. And they take out the R, R.
Oh.
That's a Hindi, is the stronger.
Oh, so it's
pronunciation. It's Khichuri.
Khichuri. So the soft, regular R.
Soft, regular
but with the extra O.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so we're making khichuri today.
And this is moong dal.
A lentil, right?
Lentil.
Can this be purchased at a regular grocery store?
Yes, split moong dal, split yellow peas.
And you can make khichuri with, like, you can change the combination of which dals you use, right? Which lentils you use?
Definitely you can. In fact, you can use this orange. And what I do is I put a little bit of this to keep it, give it a good texture. It's chana dal.
Okay.
And it's masoor dal, the orange lentil.
And are these the only three we're using today?
We are only three we are using today.
Okay, so can we put that, let's see. So you've got, remind me what the ones in the little cup are again?
Masoor dal and chana dal.
And chana dal is the bigger one, right?
Bigger one,
And
yeah.
the masoor dal is the little orange one?
Little orange one.
Okay, and then you've got your
Moong dal
moong dal. Okay, so it's a 3 lentil.
combination.
Okay,
But more, I put half a cup of this and half a cup of rice and a little handful of these,
And
just to give a little texture.
okay, and I know that desis, which are people from the entire South Asian area, desis are very picky about their rice, right? It has to be a particular kind of rice.
Yes, I have used basmati. I use basmati for everything.
Of course.
I
so-
love basmati.
And these are our other, so wait, what's happening here? You've got the bowl here.
And let me tell you one thing, the moong dal, if you dry roast it and use it for your, but you know, it would take so long, I wouldn't have the time. When I know Melia with timings.
So you would dry roast it before soaking it, or?
Before soaking it.
Wow, okay.
It comes out beautifully
So,
also.
so you would do that, and then you would do what you
So
Can you tell us a little bit about why you soak the rice and the lentils here?
first of gets a whatever they have, you know, to preserve it.
Mhm.
They have a lot of things there. It gets rid of that first of all. So the whitey water becomes clear then. When
Okay,
you start washing, you'll see a dark, sort of opaque water.
okay.
Just
That must
Steve
be
will say.
Pastor Steve, and I think your son said he'll get him.
He'll get him.
Okay, awesome. So you're gonna now rinse the rice?
Yeah, rinse the first. Let me
Okay, wait, can we just comment on, this is how Rini cooks.
Oh my God.
Does she not look gorgeous? She's setting the bar high for South Asian, women.
Seriously.
Okay, sorry, go ahead. I'm paying attention.
Okay, so I've taken half of this cup of lentils and half of rice. So I'll use this cup for measurement. And I'll take 4.5 cups of water in this cup.
Oh, Rini, I so appreciate you using measurements.
Yes.
Who prompted me?
Yes.
Yeah, in South Asia, people don't use these half cup or tablespoon measurements. So Rini was giving me the recipe similar to the way my mom does, a little bit of that, a bunch of this, and I was Rini. My brain cannot compute that. I need the measurements. So, okay, so I'm sorry. How many? So you had,
Oh my God, you
No, that was
Oh,
three.
sorry.
That was three.
that was 3. No,
Come on,
three. Hello.
Hi,
So,
Pastor Steve.
A Muslim, a Hindu, and a priest enter a kitchen. And what happens next? Thank you so much for being here. And we cook.
And if Pastor Steve can pronounce that.
Oh, and
Oh.
Rini, can you share with us what you know that expression, right? Khichuri ban gayi. Like, what does it mean when something
And it's really
it's
that.
accurate right now?
It's a mixture. So we are khichuri today.
Right. So it's
Muslim and a
Yeah,
Christian and a Hindu.
and Imam,
well, we
a
don't.
priest, and
Pandit.
a rabbit walk into a bar.
Uh-huh.
And the rabbit says, I believe there's been a typo.
That's cute. See, I told you he was going to be good company. Yeah, but what Rini just mentioned is it's an expression in South Asia that when you have a conglomeration of
Okay.
ideas or
Okay.
things,
Yeah, like a
And that
salon.
and then it's causing confusion
Oh, yeah.
or a state of humor, you say you've made khichuri, which is what we're cooking
Khichuri.
today.
Oh, that's what we're doing. There you go. Well, I'm pretty good at making that.
So we're embodying khichuri today. Okay, sorry. So you had
So 4.5 cups of water to boil.
okay. Carol's giving me a little tip that I should turn my camera, so I'm gonna rotate the camera. Okay,
Oh, much better.
is that much better? Oh, I'm
Much
so sorry.
better. See, Carol, thank you, Carol. Even when you're not there, you're still sharing your knowledge with us.
Do you feel free to hop into the frame?
Yeah, okay, sure.
So, Steve, what is your
I like
experience?
photobombing.
What is your experience with Indian food?
Oh, I love Indian food. It's one of my favorite foods.
No-
I was in
Oh,
India
good.
for a month, well, 20 years ago, but I would say that More when buffet. I would go to Indian buffets. It's almost my first choice for lunch.
Now, have you had khichuri before?
I'm not a foodie, so I don't pay attention to what things are.
Well, today you're going to pay attention to how to prepare it.
You may think so. I will
Okay,
watch.
pay attention while
attentively.
you're eating it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And
It looks promising.
thank you. Steve, would you like some coffee? I have some coffee.
I'll have. I'll do it.
Okay.
You've got work to do. It seems.
It seems that.
And nobody wants my.
Okay,
cooking.
now that it's boiling, I should have boiled it before, maybe.
Oh, no, it's really fun to watch water boil. It makes for really great conversation and video content. Oh, why don't you walk us through the rest of the ingredients?
Okay, so I have 3 small tomatoes all cut up. I'll use half for the thing. Half, there's half and half in there.
Okay, great.
Did you find it?
I'll find it.
And
Carry on.
1 cup of mixed vegetables, which frozen peas, carrots, broccolini, and beans.
So this is a great way to hide vegetables in your family's meal.
Yes, yes.
Ooh, love it.
This is the only way I can get Oren to eat his vegetables.
Spoken like 2 mothers.
You got it.
Would you like some sugar, Steve?
No, I'm good. I'm sweet enough.
I knew that was coming.
And I have the ginger, which we have to be careful in using because it adds some heat.
Okay.
So we'll do whatever Steve and you like.
I think the half and half might be flaked up on me.
Viewers, don't mind Steve in the background.
And this
Yeah.
He's
is
fussing over his coffee.
Don't mind me.
This expression that it brings heat has always confused me because I know in India, in Pakistan, in Bangladesh, there's a lot of talk about hot foods and cooling foods, right, Rini?
yeah.
Certain foods,
Oh, okay.
certain foods are supposed to be consumed in the winter, and certain foods are supposed to be consumed in the summer, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But khichuri is one thing can be consumed anytime.
And
If it-
foods cooked by my mother should never be consumed.
That's so mean. As a mother, that I'm offended.
No, my mother knows. It's a terrible thing. I love a human being. but not a good thing.
Okay, so you said we had 3 small tomatoes chopped,
Chopped.
and then you said this is like 1.5 inches, I think, of ginger, right?
Ginger, yeah.
Okay, and then what that looks
That
dangerous.
was the red
That
pepper.
looks really dangerous.
Yes.
And what kind of a pepper is that?
It's a red serrano chili. It was written there.
Okay, let's see what happens to Steve when he consumes this pepper.
And we'll use according to whatever
According to
you'll
Steve?
guide me with.
What is your-
We
what
call
is your-
this experiments on the Irish? I'm gonna eat this.
Oh,
Oh, you're gonna really try it?
Oh, I don't know.
No, Steve, don't do it. It's
We don't wanna
hot.
make
It's
you cry.
hot.
I'll
Wait,
make,
don't make-
yeah.
No, I'm gonna pass.
Okay, so what's
Hey,
happening?
Rini?
Yeah,
Hey, Rini. So I know, and it's say if this is the same case. So Rini and I share the same native language. We both speak Bangla. My parents were from Bangladesh and Muslim, and obviously Rini is Hindu, but we share the language. And I know we say khichuri as well. I know that my mom, Amma, khichuri is one of my all-time favorite meals, like in the entire world. And I know that she would also especially make it like if you weren't feeling well, because it's like a comfort food,
exactly.
right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Right.
because she, it would be like for 2 reasons. So she would always make it if I wasn't feeling well, under the weather, or if it was something where, like, I remember during exams or things like that, where you didn't necessarily have the time to eat a lot of food separately. It's all together. So all the vegetables and the lentils and the rice, it comes out together. And I still remember she would give like this delicious warm bowl of it, and I would just like just
But comfort.
devour it.
Yeah,
It's exactly.
it's like
a
comfort food.
It's the chicken noodle soup of
Exactly.
Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And Rini, what's interesting now, and this kind of plays to like kind of like the evolution of religion as well, right? Like you're doing it on the stove, and with boiling the water and the rice on, cooking the rice on the stove. I know, like when I make it now, I just put everything in the Instapot, right? Like I put the
Instapot,
rice, the
I did do
vegetable.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah, and just close it and put it on the rice setting, and like 7 minutes, I think like khichuri is done, you know, and
7 minutes.
it's really
Wow.
quick because there's no meat involved, right? It's vegetable and rice and,
Yeah.
and lentils. So
Let me just look at the content here. You've got the lentils for protein. You've got some rice in there for starch and all those vegetables. All right. Oh, it looks like our water's boiling.
Yes.
Would you see that went by fast?
Now let me drain the
Well,
soap.
if this
rice
doesn't
and
go viral, I don't know what will.
Water being boiled.
I'm getting excited about it.
It is exciting. I haven't entered a person's home like this in 18 months.
ah,
We're all vaccinated, by the way, for
Oh, and I
anybody
have
who's
to
wondering.
soak that up
Oh, is
too.
this for garnish on top at the end?
Wow,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
cilantro. Mm-mm-mm.
Cilantro really became popular in California a couple of years ago, I remember. Okay, so now you've added your soaked and drained rice and lentils.
I'm always interested about where food sort of originates. Like Italian cooking is like has a tomato base to it, right?
Mhm.
But there was never a tomato in Italy until the 1500s.
Oh, Rini, you're asking the right person.
So
I just
so
wrote that.
we have like, like broccoli and carrots and peas, which, sort of staples of, at least peas and carrots to be a staples of Indian food. Did it originate there, or did that come from South America, or do we have any sense of where?
It originated, at least to our understanding.
Yeah,
Now, what they find later on, we don't know.
right.
But we say that in the Mahabharata, which is supposed to be a few thousand
Sure. Yeah,
years
well, it's an old-
BCE,
Yeah.
Draupadi used to cook that
Okay.
when her 5 husbands, they were roaming around in the forest. They were
Okay.
exiled.
5 husbands?
Yes, she had 5
I
husbands.
have one, and
Can you imagine?
no, I cannot. That sounds exhausting.
I would be good at being one of 500. I could manage that. I think that, that'd be-
Usually people like
yeah,
having 4 wives, but you like the one of 5
I
husbands.
think that would work better for me.
A lot of better work distribution, right?
So
Okay.
Rini,
So
that's
you're
like
saying khichuri.
so sorry, a really quick question for the viewers here. So the story that you shared, is that something that's kind of rooted within like the Hindu tradition, like in terms of the mythology of that, where
Mhm.
this came from?
Not came from as such, but she used to cook, dal and rice together for her husband in the forest. And then Krishna was supposed to have come and all the food had finished. And he had a grain of this khichuri and it turned into blood. And he blessed the 5 brothers. And then, then you know about the big war that the 5
The 5 husbands were brothers.
Yeah.
Oh, and the plot thickens.
Yeah, and that was very amazing.
Sounds like my family.
They had gone out for, in the forest when they were in the palace. They had gone out and they came back, the 4 brothers, and they had gone where Draupadi was choosing her husband at those times. And Arjuna had won her. But the 5 brothers came back together with Draupadi, and the mother was cooking something, and they said, "Mom, look what we got for you." And she said, "Okay, whatever you have, 5 brothers, divide it amongst yourself." So, and they were, in Indian time, at that time, mother was like the goddess.
As she should be.
Yeah. And so they couldn't let her word go. So she said, "Mom, they said, what have you done?" She said, "What? We have a wife and you said we have to share her." And they started sharing her that way.
Wow.
So are the days of our lives.
Wow. Wow.
So you're
Huh.
saying that this khichuri is mentioned in the Mahabharata. Is that accurate? That is part of the Vedas?
No, it's a
After the
mythology.
Vedas.
The
Okay.
mythology.
Post Vedas or
Post.
pre?
Post Vedas. Okay. So we're 2000 BC.
Maybe around
Maybe.
that, 2,500, 2,000.
So
BC.
what that tells us that this food was being consumed at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Ibn Battuta, the Moroccan traveler,
Mm-hmm.
he writes about it in his travelogue.
Mhm.
About
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes,
then
he
the
does.
the fact that India is connected all to the whole continent,
Yeah.
right, of Asia, Europe, like it meant that things traveled better. That of
Yeah.
course, like Africa didn't have trade routes, so like foods, things traveled much more easily that way.
Exactly.
Mm.
than they did in other places.
And then Akbar's courts.
Mhm.
Akbar was very fond of khichuri.
Mhm.
And guys, both of you said, I never Reverend Steve, but do you have young kids?
No, no kids.
Okay, so
3 wives though.
more.
He's joking.
So, I mean, you all should really make your children read Birbal and Akbar comics.
Mhm. I heard about
And
that.
if you get them over the
You know.
they're amazing, the stories. Birbal was the Hindu in Akbar's court of 9 jewels.
Oh, I see.
And things related to that is amazing. I was just looking up, and I know Orin grew up reading those things and all that. Now
And for the viewers, to clarify that when Dini's talking about Akbar, we're talking about like the Mughal dynasty. So this is like Muslim Hindu relations right there. And so that's the thing in story and in food and in mythology of all these places where people practice different faiths. It's very interesting because it connects them, right? And that's something that obviously that we build on ourselves as well. And food, my God, I'm getting hungry looking at it, Rini. Why do you live so far from me?
No, you should have jumped here.
We didn't enjoy it, but khichuri is such a good symbolic representation of South Asian culture because India, this whole entire area, is such a great combination of cultures and scriptures and traditions.
Well,
And then my son, he made khichuri into a gourmet product. He added dry fruits and saffron. And that's the thing of khichuri. You can add as many things as you want. You can it into a gourmet.
Okay, I just smelled whatever that is that you pulled out of your cabinet. What was that?
That was turmeric. So
and you don't call it. What do you
Good
call
for
it?
your joints, they say.
Yeah. 1 minute.
Yeah.
And what's the word that you use for turmeric?
Haldi.
Haldi, right? Okay.
And see, in Bangla, we say holud.
Holud, yeah.
Oh, I didn't. Okay. And now look at this. Rini is not using a teaspoon or a tablespoon. And I think you're using that spoon just for to humor us, aren't you, Rini?
Yeah.
Could you eyeball it?
Usually I just pour it. Okay.
You're on TV now. You just,
And why are you adding the turmeric? What does it add to the dish?
It adds a good color and a taste it has. And the health benefits of turmeric is amazing. Joints and digestion and for everything. It's really good. And we add turmeric to everything.
Hey, Sarah and Rini, I'm going to interrupt again just because I know, Sarah, you probably can't read the comments and stuff. So I want to share something two things for the viewers out there. I know that it's close to 12:30, so we're going to try our best. But the main reason we wanted to show this is, oftentimes we think about religion as like, okay, we sit down, we talk about the different tenets, or we talk about this is yours, this is mine. But there's so many things in life just overall that unites us together, right? And food is certainly a central component of that. So even something like this, if you look, we're talking about, definitely the Muslim, the Hindu traditions, and Manik, who is one of our past board members, a member of also the Huntington Beach Interfaith Council as well. And he just commented, he's a member of the Zoroastrian faith. And he says, Akbar also invited a Zoroastrian priest, and he kept a fire burning in his palace constantly after the visit. And then he gifted a land to the priest. So think about that. So those, these are like lived interfaith acts that happen in history. And I think oftentimes, today in today's world, what we often see is how faith divides us, right? That's what's projected when you turn on the TV and things like that. But what's so beautiful is if you really look at just history in itself, there's so many beautiful examples and stories of how people, in fact, came together, just, despite the fact that there were different faith traditions. And this is an example of that. Thank you, Manik, for sharing that. That's absolutely.
I'm mixing the veggies.
Oh, something exciting is about to happen. We're adding vegetables. My kids would be so happy right now.
How old are your kids?
Oh my God, don't get me started. They're 12 and a half and 13 and a half. And
You should be eating vegetables by now.
no,
though.
that's not the problem right now. This is such a difficult age. They're just not as pleasant.
It's no forever.
Oh
Yeah, you
God,
started
they're
this.
grumpy all the time.
And you know, this COVID thing doesn't help any. They're not meeting their friends. They're not going to school.
Right.
So everything adds up.
And you're, but mom and dad all of a sudden are starting to not know anything.
Oh my
Okay,
God, the
add
eye
veggies.
rolls and the humps and the, okay, so now the tomatoes are going into.
Half the tomatoes.
No, in South Asian cooking, we do use tomatoes a lot, right? Rini?
Yeah.
The other vegetables, are those found in India naturally? The peas, you had peas,
You know,
broccoli, and
instead of broccoli is not that
Right.
popular in India. But instead of broccoli, we could have used cauliflower.
Yeah, a lot of cauliflower.
and
Yeah.
right.
I could have used, but I like cauliflower a little sauteed before adding. So that's why I didn't add it over here.
And cauliflower is the base of a lot of like vegan cooking now. Like that
Yeah.
is the sort of almost become like the default staple.
Okay, I'm
other than
adding the
soy.
salt too.
It's either soy or cauliflower that becomes the base of.
Interesting. Why?
Yeah.
I wonder if cauliflower, what it has, what the nutritional profile. Oh, something's
Pretty
happening here.
healthy.
I'm adding the salt.
It's thought to be superfood, I think in some category.
Red salt. Look at all those colors. You know, we tell our
That is
kids
really
eat a
cool.
rainbow. That is a rainbow.
That is a rainbow. Do I get any of this, or is this all just for show here?
No, you get it.
All right.
And you get it with some chicken curry too.
Oh,
Okay.
that's like the best meal in the world. Chicken curry and khichuri. Oh my Lord.
Seema is asking what veggies could one substitute if they wanted to use different vegetables in here?
But I love potato. But because it was supposed to be healthy, I didn't put potatoes in. Potatoes.
We already have a starch. Yeah.
Yeah, potatoes, cauliflower.
What is this? now?
This is
Oh,
ghee I'm adding.
Can we see the jar
Oh, there's the good stuff.
cover here? Okay,
Ghee is becoming popular with time.
ghee.
I don't know what it is,
So
never heard of it.
Pastor Steve, let's hear you say that word. Ghee.
Ghee? Well, I just heard it 4 times, so it can't be too bad.
That's that trick.
Cow ghee?
It's cow ghee. It's the best ghee.
I just love that pronunciation.
I've never even heard the phrase ghee, never mind cow or any
Oh,
other word.
really?
What is it? Like
Don't
it
you
sounds
use-
like a
Oh,
buttery.
it's like
No,
deliciousness.
it's clarified butter.
Yeah.
I don't cook, so I don't know, but
You know, with lobster, what you get,
Oh,
with
yeah,
the
yeah,
that's ghee.
not so good
And-
for you at home, but
It's
No.
actually really good for you.
oh, it is
Yeah,
So my-
it's the good.
good fats.
Good
Yes.
Yeah.
So my
Okay.
husband, he's a nutrition physician, and so he has actually been really promoting substituting a lot of our cooking oils with ghee instead.
Really.
Yeah, and especially I don't know if the cows that it's sourced from are grass fed and free roaming and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So my mom used to
Buy
make
it
her
at
own
Costco.
ghee. Rini, did you ever do that where you made your own ghee at home? Like,
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah. And I remember when one of the first visits that Amma came to California after I got married, she would, oh God, she would cook these amazing meals. And she made, I think it was biryani one day. And so she made her own ghee, right? And it's a strenuous process. It takes a long time. You can't burn it, all that stuff. And she covered it and she like put it in the fridge and she's like, okay, don't throw this away. I know it doesn't look like it's something good, but this is really good. And lo and behold, and he's learned since then, my husband, he's like, what is that? And because it looks bad, right? If you have it in like, it looks like some sort of fungus thing going there. So he threw it all away. And she had to start the process
Something
again.
happened here. You after the vegetables, you added the salt, you added turmeric, and then you added the ghee. How
Ghee.
much ghee did you add in here right now?
1 teaspoon.
Okay, and then you put you
I
have it
lowered
simmer
the
now.
heat and now it's simmering. Covered it and it's simmering.
Okay. Do you, in Hindi is this? I think my mom calls this dham lagana. Is dham when you
Yeah.
when you
But-
simmer something?
But this is not the thing for it, so I don't know when I cover it, so it'll make a little noise.
Ooh, action.
I didn't know this was going to be a drama.
So, as Milia has mentioned, food brings people together, and then food also can be sacred, right? A lot of faith traditions have some kind of a food component, whether it's a practice. how about from your traditions? And actually, Steve, we didn't have you specify which faith community you come from, and maybe you can share that and what role food plays in your community.
Well, I'm a Unitarian Universalist, so we're kind of a melting pot of traditions. We come out of the Judeo-Christian.
A Khichuri. You're a Khichuri.
We're a Khichuri. But I would say that we're sort of. I mean, if you had to pick a cuisine, we're probably like California light. Like we're healthy. There's a lot of vegetarians and vegans there. Like I don't eat meat, but that's not part of the deal. We're sort of a hodgepodge. I mean, we're not. There's not a lot of historically sacred things. We're a fairly new faith.
And also like California.
Yeah, we're eclectic. I mean, there isn't one particular thing. Our church particularly had a great buffet after services. That was really the start of the show. We put on a lunch. So coffee hour was the lunch. It was amazing. And then COVID came and ruined all that. But that was probably our strongest thing. Is we fed 100 people for lunch and sat around.
Brings people together.
I mean, you're never bored with food. Like it's like you go to a lecture and if they open up the buffet, you could have Carl Sagan up there talking to Jesus and Krishna, and we'd be at the buffet. I mean, right? Like,
exactly. Who's paying attention to that?
Yeah.
And Steve, are you able to, in 2-3 sentences, give a little bit of origin history of your church?
My particular church, well,
the UU Church.
The UU Church in general. So it comes out of the Christian tradition. It sort of has this history of being on the wrong side of where orthodoxy chooses, right? So we're the sort of
the rebels,
victims, the rebels of orthodoxy. In the 1800s, it sort of came to America and increasingly got liberal. So we don't have a core faith. We don't really have a creed. We tend to be sort of united by an ethics more than anything else, and an open-mindedness and a tolerance. So we are sort of out of the box, pro-LGBTQ, sort of out of the box interfaith. Like we're very modern. Like we sort of are the front end of the arrow of any religious movement's attachment to a new idea.
So instead of being grounded in a scripture, I think you guys have those principles that
7 principles, right?
And you know them by heart.
I do, yes. So there's the inherent worth and dignity of all people. There is a commitment to democracy. There is an acknowledgement that we are all connected in this interdependent web. There is a belief that each person must walk their own spiritual path, right? Like with what they call the responsible and free search for truth and meaning. So we take those sort of ethics.
Something is happening here.
Yeah.
Rini, what's happening here?
I'm just getting the tempering spices ready. Whole bay leaf.
Wow.
And some cumin, 1 teaspoon of cumin. And I'll get a whole red chili from there.
So this is where we're going to have some sizzling and popping, I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what I think is really interesting is that the roots of the UU Church and Hinduism are so different. And yet I feel like there's a lot of common shared, you're kind of ending up in the same place.
In a certain way. And one of the interesting things was the transcendentalists, who we get a lot of our ideas from, like Emerson and Thoreau and Adams, in fact, the first one of the early presidents, Adams had the largest collection of Buddhist and Hindu literature in the country at the time. Right? So there was always this sort of openness, right? They were Christian in a Protestant sense, but they were always sort of searching. And the idea of an oversoul came from Southeast Asia. So in the transcendentalist pattern, they replaced the name of God with oversoul, sort of felt more generic, and we got that from the East.
Oh, look, we have to pay attention to Rini. She's sneaky. She starts adding stuff.
Okay.
And
So Emerson and Walter Emerson and when Swami Vivekananda came,
Yes, that's right.
they got him so well, and they brought him when he gave speeches all over the UU church,
right.
transcendental churches.
Okay, we're going to come back to that. But so Rini, is it just 4 ingredients here? You have the dried red chili, you have a bay leaf, you have cinnamon stick, and you have the
Cumin.
And
I have the cardamom, which I need to crush.
oh my God, it is smelling so good in here. Can you guys smell that on Zoom? Probably not. Here, Pastor Steve can smell it and tell us what he smells. How's it smell?
My nose isn't very good.
Does it smell like your mom's cooking?
No, not a bit. Doesn't smell at all like Campbell's soup from a can.
Oh.
And then you take 2 or 3 cardamoms.
Oh, you're gonna grind them fresh.
Grind them.
Okay.
Now you're just showing off. Now you're just showing off.
Okay.
Okay, nice. So you've released the flavor and the aroma from the little pods.
So while it's cooking, you do all that stuff.
Okay, so Rini, when because you've been in the interfaith space for, we'll just say a while, and I think you have some familiarity with the UU Church, right, and their principles.
Yes, yes.
So when I read those principles, I see Hinduism there. Do you see the same? And what do you think? Where do you see the resonance?
Very much so. And in fact, we had, I did for Long Beach UU Church, I did a whole sermon, and we had the children's story also. It went off very well that day. We had a huge number of questions, but it was so similar, and that was the similarity between UU and Hinduism and how it came down. And then you compare the two, and Swami Vivekananda, how he was greeted. And you know, Gandhi said a very potent stuff there. He said they got their idea from Hinduism and it was exported to USA. You know, Thoreau and Emerson and all those people. And then we forgot about it because we were under the British rule.
Yeah,
So we forgot all about it. We were following Western culture. And then it trickled back to us, filtered. And so it was so nice when we were talking with the pastor there.
It helps. You almost need others to identify who you are.
Exactly.
I mean, in a way, maybe I'm misspeaking, and I don't know, how culturally sensitive this is, but in a way, like Hinduism was a very regional experience.
No pressure. You're the one white male in the room.
No
pressure. There's nothing you could say here.
I never get it wrong. No, but I mean, it sort of. Hinduism did not quite understand itself in the unified way that I think it understands itself now until the British. The Brits named Hinduism, or at least kind of unified it. Is that right? Because otherwise, it was.
Wait, Rini, what's happening here?
Mumbai had what's the elephant god? Ganesh, and everyone had their own sort of regional gods.
Yeah,
What did you just add there? Was that just salt?
a little bit of sugar
Oh, sugar.
to make the cure.
Sugar makes everything tasty. So,
Half a teaspoon.
so now you have 5 ingredients in there.
Yeah,
Okay.
and 6.
Oh, 6. Oh, yeah, the cardamom. I forgot
Yeah,
about the
cardamom
cardamom.
I'll take from here. So.
Okay.
Wow.
Especially in the first principle from your church, the one about the inherent value and dignity of each human being.
Yeah.
I see the namaste in that. And I love it when Rini, can you share with us, for those who are not familiar, the significance of the namaste greeting?
Very apt during COVID times.
It's true.
You
It's very
don't
COVID
shake
friendly.
hands or nothing. Namaste, which means the divine in me honors the divine in you.
Bows
Each
to
one.
the-
We all have the divinity in us. It's left to us to recognize, to really go to the limit of the potentiality that we have within us.
That's beautiful. I think that's absolutely right. I mean, that is the
We
challenge.
just
isn't
keep
it?
ourselves in bonds. We think we can't do this, but we are divinity. We are part of that divine, that spark.
And I love that Native American story, the simple one where the grandfather's sitting with the 2 boys or 2 girls and says, there's a war for your soul. There's 2 wolves. One's the good wolf and one's the bad wolf. And then the kids sort of, in mind the way which wolf wins, and then the grandfather says the one you feed, right? So
Exactly.
Yeah.
We had Sarah, I don't know whether she knows him, but Amelia used to love him, Shiva Maharaj, Swami Shiva.
Yeah.
He was, and they've asked me to speak a little about him. So I was thinking, he was a true Vedantist. We should listen to his talk. And when I was younger, I used to think, now is he talking about Jesus Christ or is he talking about Thakur Ramakrishna? I couldn't make out the two. But slowly in the end, I started realizing he blended the two into that divine bliss.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter, Christ, Buddha, or whoever, it all blends into that bliss. And he was that.
As they would probably suggest it should, right?
Exactly.
I think at that level of wisdom that any one of these great sages, they sort of appreciate they are one version of a cultural messenger. If you're smart, you realize that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in our Gita, it says
We
that,
won't comment on if you're not smart.
Yada yada hi dharmasya glani bhavatu bharata. It means that, every time the world goes into an imbalance, when there's no balance between the good and evil, God sends us down his representative, his avatar, his son. And so it doesn't matter. So he comes to India as Krishna, he comes to the Middle East as Muhammad, he comes to the Middle East and that part of Europe as Christ. So what do we fight about? This one is better than that one. My truth can't be better than your truth. It's all the truth. And God knows how to keep that balance.
So we're just
And now-
simmering still. Oh, you're about to do something.
Yeah. Now we'll add one more.
Oh, there's a second pot.
Yeah.
This pot just appeared.
I gotta
Okay.
go fight traffic, so I'm running out.
Okay.
I gotta run to work.
Bye,
Okay,
Aaron.
come and show your face to Melia. She wants to see you with a beard.
Next time.
Come and say hi.
He overheard me earlier, so he's on to us. Okay, so you're putting the ghee in here.
Yeah, the 1 teaspoon. I took 2. So one was put in the khichuri and one is going to be put in here.
So I've heard that this is the most important step in South Asian Indian cooking, what you're about to do right now with the spices,
Yes.
right? What do you call this step?
We call it choka or tempering
Okay,
the food.
Wow.
okay.
Okay.
We used to call it bagar.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom says pangad.
I don't have one in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Steve, what do you call it?
Usually just call it turning down the microphones on Steve. That's how it
And
goes
you
there.
know, the way I'm cooking it, it's how we offer it to, khichuri is we offer it to God. It's a God food.
Mm.
We offer it to God and then make it prasad and we all have it.
Nice.
And this is the way they cook when you offer it to God, because you don't use onions and garlic or anything. Onions and garlic are a no-no. It's not called
They're
pure
not-
vegetarian.
They're not God foods or
They're
what?
not God food.
Really?
So when we
What
offer
about
it to,
spicy peppers? Are they God foods?
Yes.
They are. Okay. Because I would, like there's always this sort of
yeah,
devilish orientation with things that are really spicy. Don't they have, right? They kind of have that sort of,
Because they're hot.
they're hot.
hot.
Right.
Oh, wow, look at that. It completely liquefied. And
Yeah.
what kind of are you on high temp here, medium temp?
High to liquefy it,
Okay.
and then
And then-
slowly as it liquefies,
Okay.
now we pour the things in.
Oh, the magic stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Steve, you're paying attention, right? 'Cause
I very much
this
am.
is going to be your Sunday sermon.
It is, and back in Salem, Massachusetts, 400 years ago, you get caught doing this, you get accused of being a witch. Be careful.
And it splatters a lot, and then you know it's done, then you add the tomato.
The Faith Council is dab witchcraft. Okay,
Thank you
now
for that
what are you
clarification,
waiting for
sir.
right now? How do you?
What did you
But
say?
then
She said, "Thank you for the clarification."
Yeah.
It's important.
But can you smell
Someone might be
the
visually
Yeah, it
challenged.
smells amazing right now.
I have no nose.
Then
You know
when
that's
you
a
get the
symptom of-
good smell, you put in the tomatoes. But I think I put too much.
During COVID, that's you should not tell people that you cannot smell.
Try to check. Yeah, no, I've never smelled it. I self-defense against my own body odor.
I don't know if the viewers heard that. Okay. So you had the ghee, then you added your
Whole
whole spices in.
Looks great.
You
I
waited
can't
for
wait.
them to pop and splatter a bit, and then now you've added your. Smells amazing. Milia, can you smell it?
Oh, yes, I can smell it. I wish I could go through and just eat it. Yes.
Do we have
I have-
two pots?
I have
Korean.
I have so much on my to-do list today. So as she was cooking, as Rini was cooking, I texted my husband and I said, "Is there any place that can deliver some khichuri right now?" He's like, "No, Milia."
I think this was in your written recipe.
Yes.
Was it?
Yes.
Okay, it was.
Coriander and a little bit later, we'll add the cinnamon.
Mm.
The food for the gods.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. We always
Or us.
and us both. Yeah, we are emanations of the divine.
And when we cook for the gods, we usually have some kind of a chanting going on at the back, and
Oh, yeah?
we don't talk
Oh.
Well.
because we're supposed to think of God, but I think it's more that you can speak or do something, so that's why.
We're having an interfaith meeting here.
And we're not cooking for the gods, just we're cooking for ourselves.
Yeah, I'm doing a sermon on Islam on the first Sunday in November.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
I will have to log
picking up
in.
the idea of Hajj.
Oh, okay.
What is it?
He's doing a sermon on the Hajj.
Oh, wow.
Well,
cool.
not. I'm just sort of.
I'm gonna log in just to fact check him.
That's right. But we have a member of our congregation who is a Zoroastrian and was grew up in Karachi,
Oh,
and then became a sailor with the British merchant marines, and was commissioned. They had a boat and they hadn't put it into service quite yet. And I'm going to say in late 50s, early 60s, they took this boat. They had an opportunity to go to Mecca, right? This Hajj.
Mhm.
And they took a run of people. The boat was supposed to only have, I don't know, 500 passengers, but they went to Mecca.
And I'm putting in the ginger, a little bit of ginger.
Steve has chosen this really incredible story to tell right at the climax of our cooking.
And I'm mixing it now.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell my story later. This looks great. I think the gods are gonna have to wait.
For humankind to polish it off. That's good.
Oh, look at that.
We like to say that I take a collection sometimes, and I say we take all the collection plates on Sunday. We go out in the back of the church, we throw it up in the air, and what God wants, God takes, and what comes back down, we use to run the church.
What are you doing here, Rainey?
I'm just using.
Oh, okay. Don't want to waste any
Yeah.
of the flavors.
Color.
Okay, very smart.
Yes.
Because we wouldn't want to use our fingers or the spoon in there. That looks amazing, and it smells so good in your kitchen right now.
Yeah.
Should I put a few of those red chilies, or we'll use it when?
What do you say,
tells
I
me?
Steve?
say no, but who am I? Not
Okay,
important.
not today.
Okay.
But you have the option if you
Yeah,
were
this is
wanting to. If you wanted to kick up the spice, when would be the right time to add?
Now,
So you would just throw them in and mix
Yeah.
it.
Throw a
It
couple
smell-
in, why not? Just, do it for the sake
it
of the
smells
gods.
good.
I don't
Just
want
a
to
few.
displease the gods. I do that enough.
And you put the little bit of sprinkling of cinnamon powder. I think I have it in there, yeah.
Wow.
And we put the cilantro.
I gotta get you up to church sometime. This is,
It
And cook for
smells
you.
so good.
yeah, there we go.
We do a lot of homeless feeding.
Yeah.
They love this.
Good.
Okay, so when my mom does khichuri, when we're not same thing as what Milia said, when you're not feeling well, especially if the tummy's upset,
Mhm.
but it's without the vegetables. It's just the lentils and the rice.
Okay.
This looks much fancier.
We do
And you get the
vegetables. I think it's maybe it's like, I don't know, maybe, and maybe that's something that we got from you guys, Rini, where because we definitely include, and sometimes my mother even includes meat. She'll cook it separately, but then she'll combine it, kind of like biryani,
Isn't it amazing just the technology of the last, 10 years at the most allows us to have this moment, right?
Yes, we're Rini's kitchen and
I mean,
people.
otherwise
Yep.
it's a film crew. We would never go to bother to do
I
that.
know. What
right?
has
Like,
Zoom done to us?
I mean,
Really?
yeah.
I'm the
Well,
film crew.
it's good. It's been an improvement.
Okay, it's done.
Wow. Amazing.
And then you can have some popper in the microwave.
And what is a popper?
Like,
Do you have
naan
some?
or-
No, it's
Like
a
chips.
wafer. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
like-
I've seen that.
So you just cook it and you have it. It sort of adds some crispiness to the kitchen.
I think maybe Rini is bringing some. But that, I was gonna ask Steve to smell it, but he says his nose is
Yeah,
no
my
good.
nose has been, used for a lot of British food.
Okay, and the khichuri has a concoction.
What is
Of,
this?
the British have a concoction of khichuri.
Do they?
It's called khichuri or something like that. I put it in my post thing.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
The British used it. This is papad. So you can have big ones.
Oh, yeah.
This is the plain one with no spices and peppers. And
But this
all that.
isn't ready to go yet. You have to do
If
something.
that was any smaller, we might call it communion.
It looks like
Yeah, I was just thinking that. It's like the communion shit. Yeah.
Right.
Amelia, I think we are just about done here. I don't know. I don't know if we want to watch the three of us eating.
Okay, you guys should enjoy on your own. Eat without the intrusion of all of us watching you eat. But Rini, thank you. Oh my goodness, it's like you're.
It was so much fun, Amelia. We should do this more often. Maybe
We
with
should, and God willing, once we get to that point where we return to a new normal that includes us being together physically more than just a few people, I think this is definitely something. I think you shall be added to our cooking with the cantor and our evenings with Rumi. This will be, I don't know, what should we call it? Khichuri with Rini, or some sort of a catchy title, and have this into a program. I would love that.
Great. Make a program. We cook a food and then we tell some interfaith story of cooperation and when
Yeah.
Saint Francis went to Jerusalem,
SCC, and yeah.
Muslims that controlled through. I mean, there's always so many great cross stories.
Exactly.
Right.
And even till a few, when I was younger, which is quite some ages ago,
Yeah.
as Orin tells me, Mom, did you play with the dinosaurs when you were young? But there wasn't this division. It was all the same. This kind of khichuri or biryani. We all stood around our mothers and they cooked.
Sure.
My best friend was, as they know, was a Muslim. So
Yeah.
I was always invited to, breaking Eid fast, iftars. And it was never like this, but somehow it's become very polarized now. I don't know why.
Conversation for another day.
Yes, I mean, but there's always, the trouble is that polarization gets more press, right?
This
There's
is true.
always been-
This is
Yes,
we're not going to make the news today cooking together,
No.
right? No one's
Yeah.
going to post an
Yeah.
article about a Muslim, a Hindu, and a Christian coming together to cook. It's just
No.
not
Yeah.
exciting. So
Yeah.
it's the reality we live with.
Yeah.
Okay,
but-
get the popcorn.
Steve and Rini, thank you so much today for coming out. It was awesome to be live with people.
Yeah.
And Rini, thank you so much for sharing your kitchen with us. And Oren, check out the
that.
hopper in the
Mm-mm.
microwave.
Oh, my goodness.
I had no idea you could do that.
Wow.
Okay.
It's just like the old days when they cooked it in the microwave.
This is supposed to be fried, but we cook it in the microwave to make it healthy.
Oh, so it's healthier.
When it's fried, it's beautiful.
Rini.
Very tasty.
Rini, did you want to say anything about the Interfaith Council or cooking today? Any closing thoughts from either of you
Yeah,
before?
it's been such a pleasure doing this. But the Interfaith Council, I have a lot. People should come and join. I'm getting a little too old for running around, but I really loved it. And I was there for so many years and I still love it. And I want to join in everything. But unfortunately, my time doesn't allow me to do all that because I'm so heavily connected with some businesses. So, but I think interfaith, as you heard my son say, how it helped him
Right.
through his college years, with
Right.
his college, and
We're
it
going
was-
to have that conversation with Oren, talk a little bit about bringing back that youth council component. I was really moved hearing his story about how engagement in the council helped him throughout his teen years, figuring out who he was, how he could relate and connect with other people, and show up in spaces with his full self. So that's a conversation we need to have. Pastor Steve, any finishing words?
Well, I grew up around a lot of, I grew up Episcopalian, and then I grew up around a lot of Jewish kids and a lot of Korean kids, and it just, expanded. I mean, just to speak about my youth, it expanded my sense of horizons. So we need each other. The truth is, we need each other. We need each other. We're too
Whatever
limited
the
one
media
around.
tells us, don't listen. Let's be us.
Yeah.
Let's communicate. Let's, and that's what South Coast Interfaith Council does to bridge the gap, to build bridges of compassion. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And not get carried
Rini,
away.
And Steve, thank you so much. Milia, the floor is all yours. We're
All
gonna
right.
have enjoy.
Thank-
Food is all ours.
There
I
you
know, but
go.
the food is yours. Oh, oh my goodness. That's
He's
okay.
he's really
Enjoy.
rubbing it in that you're not here to
Enjoy.
share
No,
with
no, enjoy. Your enjoyment will make me enjoy it and also make me a little sad, but that's okay. That's delicious. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for being behind the camera. And thank you, Rini. Thank you, Pastor Steve, for being part of
Yeah,
this. And
yesterday also, looking at all the technical stuff that we can do.
yes, and Aaron, who I didn't get to say. There you go, Sarah. All right. Thank you. Thank you. I know we went, and there's Pastor Steve. Yes, thank you. I know it's a close to 1, and I hope you guys enjoyed the program though. And I'm going to ask Cheryl to pull up that. Oh, that's fantastic. That's great. Pull up that flyer for me, Cheryl, so we can talk about the rest of the program for today and the rest of the week. I think she's doing it right now, most likely. But for those of you who've joined us, thank you, Monique and Summer and Dawn and Seema was on. And for those who will be watching this later on either our Facebook pages or YouTube, thank you so much for your time and for being with us. But this is, this is really an example of what we do. It's the little things, right? We always talk about these are the ways that we connect the hearts, and in this case, the stomach too. But this is how we come together as a united community, because what you just saw is, Rini being Rini, as amazing as she is, a devout member of her Hindu faith community, opening our home to Pastor Steve from the U Church, to Saradine from the Muslim community. And amongst those people who kind of was with her as she was cooking, we had Monik from the Zoroastrian community, we had Sarah, Summer from the Baha'i community, we had Seema, we had, all these other individuals, and that's what it is, coming together, honoring our faiths, being true of who we are, our authentic selves, and sharing and connecting on that level. So tonight, yes, we have at 7 o'clock, we'll be back on again. We'll have the spoken word, Visions of a Hopeful Future. We have close to a dozen different poets and just beautiful words and being shared together tonight. And Dr. Tony Lee from the Baha'i community, who is a poet himself, among many other things. He will be taking the lead in this program. So we're so grateful to him for that. So please join us for that. We'll continue this on to tomorrow, starting the day with meditation from the Christian faith tradition, following a similar program like this, except we're going to be cooking with the cantor with Elon Davidson, who is a past president of the SCIC as well. And I think he's going to make some hummus. I'm not for sure, but he's a fantabulous cook, and I'm sure whatever he cooks will be amazingly delicious. So that's tomorrow at noon. And then again, tomorrow night is an evening of music, song and dance from the various faith traditions. Thursday, we're going to start the day off with some meditation and some spiritual practices from the Native American faith community. Then we'll have the dinosaurs come and join us in the afternoon, and they're going to be hitting the streets of Long Beach, and will come and join us so that you find out what that's all about. Religion 101 will continue at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, or Thursday night, where we will talk about the Congregational Church, the UCC, and actually Reverend Elena Larson will be our guest that night. And then Friday we'll conclude with the Buddhist meditation in the morning, and followed by kind of a recap and time to reflect and recall everything, or rewind and talk about what we shared in that week in the afternoon with the SCIC board members. So thank you for being with us. Please continue to watch this. Please share it with your friends. And if you're able to, please do support the work of the council. We are right now we are basically almost 100% supported by individual donors. And so that's how we work. That's how we continue the work that we do, is with your support. So every little bit counts. Every dollar goes so far. So no amount is too small. No amount is too large. We invite you to please support our cause and support our work so we can continue this. And we thank all of you guys for being here, and we will see you at 7 o'clock tonight. So thank you so much. Have a good rest of the afternoon, and we'll see you again in just a little bit. Have a great day.